Like to introduce Barrington Marson, an American two-time Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, writer, and director based in Atlanta, Georgia. He is the owner of his own production company, Barrington Marson Productions, which specializes in films, music videos, commercials, and more. His career highlights include his filmmaking style. Marson is known for his unique visual storytelling and flair, which he developed after being inspired by films like Star Wars and E.T. as a child. How we love E.T. Notable works include his directing credits, which features From the Abiding in 2022, which is available on streaming platforms such as Tubi, Prime Video, and Apple TV. He also directed Journey's Revenge in 2021 and The Next Assignment in 2021, among others. He is currently working on a supernatural horror film titled The Family Story. I'm going to
Yeah.
go to his background quickly. He's from Jamaica, Queens, New York. He was raised in Riverdale, Georgia, and he pursued his passion for film by earning a BFA in media production from American Intercontinental University in 2029. He founded Barrington Marson Productions shortly after and has been an active presence in the Atlanta film industry ever since. I present to you Mr. Barrington Marson. Thank you so much for
Hey.
joining us tonight. And
Yeah.
it is important for me to skip the career highlights for now because in your background, I'm just happy to be able to share and read that right when you got graduated, you pursued your passion and you founded your own company shortly after.
Mhm.
So can you tell us, what are your beginnings? Why or what encouraged or inspired you to want to make movies? All right, to want to be in show business, as we call it.
I never really looked at it as like being in show business. I just like telling stories. It wasn't really about, I didn't get this to be like famous, like some people in this industry, they want the fame and fortune, all that stuff. I didn't get into that. I love it for the game, love it because I just enjoyed telling stories and, being unique, people who, definitely inspired me. I think I just saw the Michael Jackson teaser today, which really got me amped up. So, because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, I think,
Mhm.
anybody that knows me knows I grew up watching him since I was like 5. So I just, he played a big role. And, honestly, I think I was telling my friend earlier today, I said, I think if it wasn't for Michael Jackson, I probably wouldn't have been a filmmaker
Oh
because he was so
wow.
unique and he stepped out the box being a, African American. He didn't want to, he was probably one of the first people to start telling like short films and music videos. We don't even see that today. Music videos are dying off as we speak. So his creative aspect, and what he did for the industry and storytelling, I think that kind of played a big role for me. Um, but I think, my dad kind of put me in the comic book stores at a young age, so I got really exposed to that. So I think just seeing different type of movies like Batman, Star Wars, my dad got me to that. So that really kind of molded my imagination, I think, as a young kid that, anything is possible. So I think that was like one of my biggest thing. And I think for me as a filmmaker, I kind of want to be like I guess you could say in a cheesy way, I want to be like the Michael Jackson of filmmaking. I want to do
Yeah,
something
that's
unique.
nice. I
I
like
want to
that.
be unique, different. I want to tell the sci-fi, the horror, the action, all that stuff. I think, because I think as black filmmakers and writers, we got to step out the box. I mean, I think we've been so kind of caught up in what we see and from other black filmmakers' their success. And I ain't gonna mention names or whatever. And I think
Mhm.
those people are doing successful, but I think what has happened is that they've gotten so consumed. Okay, this is the only way of making it. If
Right.
I do these type of movies like this filmmaker did, that's the only way. And I don't believe in that. I feel like that's pigeoning you into a pocket. I think we are, especially as African Americans, we can do bigger and better. We can do the sci-fi, we can do the fantasy movies. So I think for me, that's one thing I'm pushing, narrating for any movie I'm putting out. I actually have a 10-year, probably 15-year movie plan of projects I got going on. I'm trying to do like the first African American cinematic universe. I think that's never been done, and I'm going to be the first to do it. And I think, that can really inspire people to, again, step out the box. We don't have to continue doing these drama hood movies. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a
Mhm.
door for it, and I think there's a story for it, and people want to see it. But at the same time, we're not pitching to just do those type of stories. So I think for me, I'm just trying to, you know, step out the box and do something unique and different. Let's see a Black Star Wars movie. I mean, when we have
Right.
ever seen that?
Right.
So I
Right.
think, you gotta people just gotta stop pitching themselves in boxes, and just because of this brand of a filmmaker are doing this is the only way we can make it. So I think that's what kind of separates me from a lot of filmmakers and producers in Atlanta. And people see it, but yeah, I'm just trying to be a inspiration for people, and hopefully, I can change the game and people can be inspired from the work I do.
Absolutely. And that is exciting. I met a few um, authors of sci-fi books, Black women. And I just thought it was so dope because they were Black women, and they were really excited to share their stories. So I thought it was pretty dope. And I also agree that we need more African Americans who are serious about stepping out of their box and their comfort zone and embracing sci-fi. Not only because, it does generate money, but it takes us, for a lack of better terms, and I know this is going to sound cheesy, but out of this world. It
Right.
really does. So just to take a few steps back, can you share with us how you got started in the film industry? You told us what inspires you, but share that with us.
So when I was 16, I'll just say like I guess what got me into the film industry. I think I just love films basically since a kid, but I used to work at a movie theater since I was 16 years old. So I think that was more of the the hump that really said, okay, I want to make movies. You know, if I could be honest, I think it might have been Lord of the Rings, Return of the King that really kind of, 'cause I was working in movie theaters when that came out. And I think that was the moment I think I said, you know what, I want to make movies. Because I always had a big imagination as a kid, like crazy imagination, like visually, artists, drawing, and all that stuff, making props and all that stuff. So I've been doing that since like probably elementary, not middle school. But I think, seeing that movie, I think kind of like clicked it for me. I was like, you know what, I really want to do this. Because I said, I have the vision. Because I said, originally, I wanted to go to school to be animator, do animation for like Pixar and all that stuff. Because I used to draw as an art major. But, I kind of, I guess, spiritually, I had awakened, I'll say that. So, I decided to be a filmmaker. So from there, I kind of went to AIU. Well, I prayed about it first. I'll say that first. I did pray about it. And then God just showed a commercial. From
Mhm,
there, I saw the
mhm.
commercial. Boom. I already knew that was a sign from God. I didn't even think about it. I just moved. So when I said prayed about it, I said, God, give me a sign. And from there, me and my dad took a tour, went to AIU. I finished in like 3 years, got my bachelor's degree, and um, did a lot of short films while I was in college. And, I think, for me at that time, compared to other students that are in film school now, is like I actually had really hard training where I wrote, direct, produced, edited, shot, everything. A lot of my movies, and I think it kind of helped me be better as a filmmaker because I think, as you being a filmmaker, you got to know how to wear multiple hats.
Right, right,
Just don't be a
absolutely.
director and you don't know about okay where this light need to be,
Right.
or the art department. You don't even know about this. I think as if being a director, you got to know all the departments, and I think that's the only way you're going to be great. So I think that training, I think college had put me through, really, made me a better filmmaker and a producer and a business owner. So, but yeah, that definitely played a big role for me. Um, with film school and stuff like that. So,
And you said something that struck me and that I just love. You said you prayed on it, and you wanted to hear from God. Before I ask you any other questions, this is important to me. How do you feel? How do you feel about when individuals in the industry compromise their, and I'm going to say their souls, for something that isn't worth it, and when we look at this industry and we look at what happens, to people, how do you feel about that? And does it come up against your spirit at times, against your soul? Because hearing you speak, it just really struck me. Seriously, I'm like, wow, to hear this young black male speak and to speak on God within the industry, I'm very impressed and I'm very blessed to hear you share that. And thank you for sharing it so openly.
yeah, I don't really, I'll just say I know more than the average knows. And, yeah, I just kind of leave it at that. But, um, you know, I'm gonna answer that. I think that, you know, the industry is very tainted in a sense.
Mm,
Um,
hmm.
yeah. I mean, that's the best way I can kind
That's
of
a
frame
good,
it.
no, I like, that's a good word. I like that. Tainted is a good word. So
It's
can you,
tainted, but we all kind of, I mean, people who know, they know. So I like to leave it like that.
right, I like that. I like that. That was pretty smooth. So can you, when it comes to casting actors for projects, what do you look for? Are you looking for certain actors with certain acting techniques and styles? What works best for you?
Um, well, when I write, I don't, I sometimes, I do have a sense of who can play the role. Um, I think that's one of the things I kind of just, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like to write and just let the story flow. And then when I kind of really understand the character and stuff like that, sometimes I'll know who I may want to cast, but at the same time, I like to do auditions and stuff like that. I actually like to do in-person auditions. I feel that's more authentic, and I feel you get more quality work, and then you also can see who's BSing and who's not serious. And apparently, I think we
Right,
live in the world right now. Everybody feels like, let me send a video audition. You can record yourself anytime in front of a camera, but let's see how you act in front of casting people. That's gonna really show what your chops are.
right.
And I think I had audition for one of my other feature films, which that's still in motion. That's a vigilante movie. We had over 100 people, probably 150 people come to the audition. I mean, it was massive. I mean, because people. again, it goes back to what I said. People are craving these different type of stories. They're tired of the
Same old,
these
same
certain type of
old.
movies from these certain
Mhm.
type of directors and producers. It's
Mhm.
not gonna name, but they're just tired of it. Like people want to see something different. Like can we just start doing hood movies? So
Right. They want to see something different. They want to see us in a different light. We're not just hood people. We don't just sell drugs. We don't just have sex and get pregnant. We're not what you see. And that's why when we're in the real world, individuals look at us that way.
right. Yeah, I mean, I said, if you see I'm not sure if you saw my presentation video, but you can kind of see where I'm going with a lot of my projects. It's
Mm.
very sci-fi. I've just finished my fourth feature film within the last couple weeks.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
and that's a werewolf vampire type of movie. So that's in motion. That's a really good movie. So it's kind of like you take Underworld and Fresh, if y'all remember Fresh back in the day.
oh wow. Yeah, you
Jackson.
really going back.
So I'm mixing Underworld and Fresh, and that script is done. And I think I love that script. And then also have a movie that's kind of mixture of like Superman and Dragon Ball Z, and and also talking about some other things, which
Oh,
I'm not going to talk about that.
anime. Oh.
That's alien stuff, whatever. But yeah, I said I'm just I'm at the point, like I said, I'm trying to be like a game changer. Like I'm just everybody can do what they're doing. Everybody moves left, I move right. That's what my
Mm-hmm.
philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
so but yeah.
And watch
Yeah.
other people follow.
Hmm?
Watch other people follow. Like you said, if they move to the right and you move to the left, watch how many people try to follow your left.
Yeah, I mean people definitely follow me. I mean supporting, that's another story, but people definitely see me, and you know, I just tell people stay tuned.
I
'Cause
like that.
I'm only getting started.
I like that.
So
And I miss in-person auditions also. It's so authentic, and as we teach in I Can X, always preparing the students for the opportunity when you can audition in person again.
right.
That's just
I mean,
so
I said a lot of directors don't even do that anymore. Like, I just feel like I think COVID really just threw a lot of people off. But
oh, absolutely.
people just gotten, I mean, unfortunately, I could say, unfortunately, people just gotten lazy. When
Mhm.
it comes to, coming to auditions, like being in person, like 30 years ago, you were going to whatever address they sent to you, you went to it. But it's like
Being
when COVID
nervous,
came,
waiting to hear
everybody
your
got
name
comfortable.
being called, waiting in the cast, like, oh, they called my name. All right, next, holding the sides in your hand.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, that's how my process is when I cast people. Like, I want people to come, let's do audition. I'll find a location. You come, I'll get, I brand it out on social media, let people know when it is and all that stuff. So I think that's a big thing. But, you just have a lot of actors like, well, you don't submit to a video audition. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I said, when it comes to my audition, when I post it, especially because usually I'll market it for like a month. That's how I work. Like if I do a casting, I'm promoting it for like a month, let you know the dates, and who comes, and I'm gonna look at those people first compared to who submits the video auditions.
Right. So, with that, I have a question. What are some of the most common mistakes that you see actors make during the auditions, and how can they avoid them?
In person or
Well, I'm going to say since we're doing self submit now, via self submit, what do you see as some of the problems or
um
mistakes? I'm going to say.
through the emails you're saying, right?
Yes.
Um. Well, I've had some emails where they don't even submit like any type of demo reel, which we kind of state that from the top. Like, do you have a submit a demo reel? Let us know what role you're going for. Sometimes they don't put all those type of details and stuff like that. Sometimes they don't send headshots, so I think that's the biggest thing, and just the whole presentation of your emails sometimes is just pretty dry. They're just
Mm,
like they'll just say, "Hey, here's my picture," and they'll just have their name and their contact number. Like no effort in the email at all.
like holler at
I can
me.
just only imagine how you are if you come in person for an audition.
Right, exactly. Especially so it says, you haven't even read the directions thoroughly. So if you're not going to read the directions thoroughly,
But why would I cast you?
exactly, flat out.
Because you're
Why?
probably not gonna know your lines either. So that's another thing.
Exactly. You're not going to take the time to read the script.
Right.
So I am going to add some other faces and open the floor for some questions right now. Lawrence, I have you pinned. Let me Ty. I'm going to bring you up. And April, she does not have her camera on right now. But when she does, I will be able to spotlight her. So I'm going to open the floor for questions because I can continue to ask questions. I have a lot of great questions for him, but I know you two are waiting to ask. So if you can please just use the hand raise icon, or you can just raise your hand like we're in school.
What's going
Like
on, fellas? How y'all doing?
you can do that too.
All right, yourself. Thank you for being on tonight.
Man, appreciate y'all, man. It's cool. And the kid been hitting me up all day about but
He's
nah,
upset right now.
that's my boy. Yeah, that's my brother, man. So we and him talking every day pretty much.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's
Yeah,
upset.
likewise.
So
So
man, yeah,
I
anybody
will
got a
be.
question for me, y'all let me know.
Well, first thing I was just thinking, before April came on, there it was we got like all filmmakers on. That's the first thing I noticed, and again, thank you for being on. So I'm like made of questions, right? One of them is for like myself, who I made films, short films. I love the fact that you're a man of faith. Um, but getting getting my work seen, like I've won awards both in front of and behind the camera, like acting and filmmaking, and just trying to like navigate my way through like the right person, like to either see my work or to work with somebody. Um, to get to the mainstream, so to speak. Like I like what you said. I don't want to. I've made hood films, and I don't want to keep making hood films. I've helped other people with their projects, and I want to do something different, as you just said. Like I have a film that I wrote probably when I first started Icon. ICAN, that started off as an improv, right? As a
Hmm.
vampire piece. It's called Into the Night,
Hmm.
where underworld meets modern day type of thing. Um, had it copywritten years ago, but I didn't realize like I wrote it so big, like it's not something that we could just go out and guerrilla shoot. Like that type of film needs a budget.
Not that type of movie, no.
No, no, and it has so many dynamics to it, special effects and things like that. And living in a world where I've done a lot of guerrilla filmmaking, and those days were fun. But then seeing that there is another way to do it, being in film school, I'm like, okay, well, I can't continue to just do guerrilla filmmaking. As uh, film school taught me so much, as you were saying, to learn different facets of the business. The seeing the lighting and um, the grips and studying sound and things like that. Um,
Yeah,
it,
I think film school is really, to me, what I've learned, film school is really just to find your niche. That's
yeah,
all it really is meant to do, is to really find your niche, what you're good at, and find your style, and then fine tune it. So that's how I kind of looked at film school for the most part.
yeah. Film school was great. I did film school for a number of reasons. One was to be the first male in my family to graduate from college, and I just did that
Me too.
in 2023. Congratulations to you.
Yes, sir.
Um, um, so yeah, and big ups to all that you've done thus far. I I never thought about like TV, like Emmy. You know what I mean? That's pretty big. I know you say you didn't do it for that, but like I know a dude that won an Emmy.
And mine's right here. Right here.
Yeah.
I do have
Yeah,
my. I got my second one for associate producer, but I haven't got it yet because they unfortunately they do make you pay for it, and that's just if y'all didn't know, now y'all know.
yeah,
So
that's interesting. Yeah, so what are some of the like? Did you do it like right after film school and just found your way in, or were you like working at a studio and you know um was able to make your film that way?
no, so I mean, I can be honest with you. This might be a long little story, but hopefully I don't bore y'all. So I was working at Walmart when I was in film school.
Mm,
And in 2010, my grandmother died, and I was in New York for about a month and a half or so, like that. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I had kind of, prayed about it, stepped out in faith. I told my job I'm gonna leave. They had a hard time hearing that. It was like, man, you gonna quit your job? Duh, duh, duh. I said, one thing I always say, and I stick by this today: Lord's my provider, nobody else.
that's right.
He opened doors that no man can open. He can close doors that no man can reopen. So I've always had that philosophy for 15 years, and he's never failed me. So when I came back from New York, I didn't have a job, of course. Of course, I had some 401k, whatever, Walmart. And I just pretty much freelance, because I was actually when my grandmother died, I was actually in the middle of my short film, which got picked up the Atlanta Film Festival or whatever, and that was a good thing. But I was struggling a little bit mentally and just maybe a little bit financially. So I think, I came back and I was really like a full-time movie extra. And that was like my main job. Like I worked on like Walking Dead, Drive Dead Divas. I mean, Fast and Furious 5. I mean, it's a long list. I worked on Flight with Denzel Washington. That was like my main job. But I took that experience of just learning the business, like behind the scenes, like being on a big $1 million project. To me, like being an extra, a lot of people want to, joke off and have a good time, whatever. For me, that was like a school session for me. Like I took it as like, okay, cool. They got a dolly track, cool. I actually built my own little dolly track through some Walmart stuff and shot a movie called Son of a Pastor. Um, and I just learned it as a learning tool. But at the same time, I was pretty much living out of a suitcase, feel like, because I was going from one set to another, go to the next set, show your clothes, boom, put this on, boom, boom, boom. And I think most everybody, director, producer, actor, everybody's been an extra at some point. Just kind of learn. But that was my main thing because I said school didn't teach me but so much. They didn't teach me about so much about lighting and all that stuff. So I had to take like courses. So, I think for me again, I was just hustling basically. I had a camera, I had bought I think I used my income tax money, Walmart money they owe me. I bought my camera, had a MacBook Pro my dad found it while he was working at Delta. I put editing software on there. I started just shooting and shooting. Like I had ideas. I said, let me just shoot so many short films, and I think that's what really kind of got me recognition. And I think around 2011, I did a movie called A Few Loose Screws. It has like maybe over 20,000 views or whatever on YouTube, whatever. Um, and that was like my first crossover movie because when I was in college and all that stuff, I did mainly just black, movies. So I think as a filmmaker too, you got to really learn how to cross over. Like you can't just work with just black cast all the time. Like you got to know how to work. And Hollywood pay attention to like stuff like that. If you don't know how to work with an all white cast or all Asian cast, 9 out of 10, the Hollywood director's gonna go with somebody else than you. And if you look at Anton Fuqua, look at all his movies. He's done, I mean, yeah, he has a good relationship with like Denzel Washington, stuff like that, but he's also done some white movies. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know, he directed Olympus Fallen. So, of course, I know he's gonna win an Oscar for Michael Jackson. I already know that. That's shouts to him. I'm kind of mad he got it because I wish I got it. That's whatever. But
Mm.
but yeah, I just kind of freelance for the most part. I did some weddings here, got into music videos. The movie I was saying that got submitted to film festivals. That was a movie about my cousin, and he was on drugs, and that's really a true story. Well, he wasn't on drugs; he was selling drugs. But his parents, which was my uncle, died of an OD in New York. So I wrote that, and what's crazy is he was actually incarcerated when I wrote and directed that. He didn't see it until like a couple years later. And he cried by the time when he saw the movie and stuff like that. Um, so I had did a lot of film, shooting a lot of short films, man, and just freelancing and networking, just being an extra on set. That's how I kind of look being an extra. I just looked at as far as networking, who can I meet actors and all this stuff. So I said I've been in it for 15 years, man. So it's like I kind of it's one of those type of things, man. You got to really build it up, and it takes years. So I always tell people like don't get in this to on that rich scheme that you got to get rich real fast because you got to get a wake up call real fast. So, but yeah, it's the process, with everything.
Thanks for that.
I mean, hopefully that answers your question. So,
Yeah, it sounds pretty much the same. It sounds pretty much the same, graduating your journey and everything. But yeah, it sounds pretty much like, I've been there, film festivals and toil in the dirt. I've been an extra, but I vowed that I never wanted to be an extra again. I did on a set of Creed, I learned a lot. Being with two different directors, first Ryan Coogler and then Stephen Caple Jr., like how they just did things different.
right.
Ryan Coogler was very detailed. I mean, 15, 20 takes. And I'm like thinking like dog, you got it. Like you probably had it the first 7 takes and Stephen Cable Jr. 5 takes and he was, got what he liked. But like you said, being on set and everybody's laughing and joking, I'm looking at learning, like even being there one night, I think me and the kid was on set this night. We was probably there maybe 18, 19 hours, when he
Mm.
was filming the flame, the guy spitting the flame and part one when he's walking down the tunnel, it was almost 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then we got to be back on set at 5 o'clock.
He was
Um,
probably nervous though. I mean, you got to think
yeah.
about it. This guy's has a big budget, especially for Creed. And Matt,
Mm,
I would imagine I probably would have did 10, 12, 15 takes because you got to keep in mind, like, he's working for a big studio, biggest project he's worked on. So he's like probably stressed out, like, oh, I got to get the at least 5 good takes. The thumb rule is at least a good 3 for me. But I think for him, he's just like, so I'm sure he was under some stress mentally and he was trying to probably get the best performance. So I'll probably do the same thing.
really, really quick. He filmed. We came back from lunch one day, and when we came in, they were already filming the scene where he was spitting the blood on a rope. We sat there for 2.5 hours after lunch watching him film the spit that he wanted to get in the bucket right. He wanted to hit the ropes right and everything like that for 2.5 hours. So yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah,
It was pretty grueling.
he's a perfectionist, so I mean that's a good thing. I mean it's paid off. I mean it definitely blossomed his career, so that's a good thing.
I apologize. I just wanted to let you know Nakia did join, and we have another young man, and I don't see your name. Can you tell us your name, please? It just says iPhone. Can you hear me?
It might be muted. I don't know.
Bobby Rand.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Great. We're
My
great.
brother.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing,
I'm good.
Bobby?
I'm good, man. Just happy to be here, man.
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Nikia.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey guys.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm just rapping on this film, so I'm
Look
just
here.
literally rolling out. But thank you so much, Barrington, for coming through, and thanks everybody that's coming through, and thank you so much, Nicole, for hosting tonight. So I appreciate all of y'all.
Never need
Now,
things. Never.
So I don't really have a question, Barrington. I just have a statement. I appreciate like the information that you've given so far, but just telling your story. I also went to film school and I finished in 2024. I did the capstone short film, the film festival, and I'm working on a proof of concept right now. And
mhm.
just to hear you were speaking, I guess I do have a question. You were speaking of earlier of the wave. That's the way I took it. Of how through the 60s, through the 70s, there were waves in filmmaking, and you had your Warhols and you had your Van Goghs and you had your various artists. And what I'm hearing from you amongst our community, people are more concerned about being seen than expressing, right? And what I'm also noticing is it's like you have to prove that you're an artist and you're already in the same space as other artists, and there's like a fear to connect with the next person coming up. And I wanted to know, did you experience that even with going to film school? Because I realize even going to film school doesn't mean that you're going to be on the inside. It doesn't mean that you're going to be accepted. It doesn't mean that you're going to be received for your perspective, because I don't care about Hollywood. Yes, I went to a premiere school for Hollywood, but I don't care about Hollywood. I respect the craft and the system of Hollywood. And y'all were talking about the things behind the scenes that happen in the industry of people chasing immoral things. I don't care about that. I care about the art, like you said. I care about the expression. You have your expression, abstractism, your neo-expressism. I guess what I want to know from you, what do you see is the industry? Because we always talk about the industry and we talk about Hollywood and we set the standard and then we say we don't want that standard, but I don't see another format. I just hear everybody saying the same thing. We're doing the same thing, but there's no difference from what Hollywood is doing. But we're talking about we want our thing. So from you, what is the industry?
That's a good, deep, compelling question. Um, what is the industry? I think it's a very soon to be broken industry, if even if we could be honest. I think if you look at like movie theaters and movies in general are not what it was 15 years ago. You can go to movie theaters now, you don't see too many movies. We have this whole streaming platform, which, I ain't gonna get to that. But, we could just say I think it was kind of a well planned out thing on all scales. And I'm not talking about just all of Hollywood. I'm talking about outside of Hollywood. I think this was a planned, orchestrated thing. But, it's unfortunate. But, I think we there is hope. I think, because Hollywood, you know, fell down like maybe what if you look at the 1940s, 50s, it was the independent filmmakers that brought Hollywood back. So I think right now we are in a good situation, particularly for independent filmmakers. that we have these streaming platforms and we have these distribution platforms, to really get yourself out there. So I think it is some good positive out of it. And I think we are in a good situation where, especially, you have really good stories, but also you got to make sure you got the budget. You also make sure you got some type of talent that's going to really back it up and stuff like that. That's pivotal. And I think, that's another thing. I think I have always talked to another director friend of mine. He's done a zombie vampire movie and stuff like that. I just feel like we kind of talk about with the actors. It's like a lot of actors, unfortunately, do not promote their movies that they were in as much as you promote it. And I've seen that over the couple of years, and it's unfortunate. Especially these actors put all the work. They kind of half-ass their promoting and stuff like that. But I mean, that could be another conversation. But I think Hollywood is in a really it's in a really tight situation right now. I think they're losing a lot of money. I think they lost the principles of making original movies. We haven't seen good movies since the 80s and 90s, if we can keep it 100. Maybe the first 10 years of
Yes, that's absolutely true. As we say in Philly, keep
maybe
it
the
all the
first
way a buck. Seriously.
maybe the first 10 years of 2000, I can say that because Lord of the Rings and a couple other good movies came out. So I ain't gonna knock that. But I think right now, I think, Hollywood is in a bad situation. They've lost a lot of money. Look at Warner Brothers right now. They're in so much debt of billions of dollars. You got people like Saudi Arabia trying to buy them. You got Paramount, which, I do work for Paramount, so I'm not going to discredit them. I do respect that company tremendously. But I think, it's a big shift right now. I think I think you gotta stand out as much as possible with your stories. If you're directing and stuff like that and writing, you gotta really stand out and don't do the typical stuff we normally see from certain producers and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna discredit them. And you know, people like Tyler Perry and 50 Cent, we kind of already know.
You know what
But
you're gonna
I
get,
think
right?
they're very, huh?
Yeah, I said you know what you're gonna get. You know the type of storyline, or it's kind of predictable, but it caters to a specific audience, and I
Yeah, it
think that's
does.
another thing that's missing, and I think it should be taught in acting school, in all schools, even on the set. Everybody needs to know who this film or who this story is going towards. Everybody
Right.
needs, I hear horror stories of on set of disorder, and there's no cohesion on sets, and you have $100,000 budgets, and it caves in because everybody's not on the same page. And it's like, are we not here for the art? Are we not here for, that was my question was, what is the industry? Is the industry Hollywood, or is the industry the art? Is the industry the expression, the creation? And Hollywood is the system that we use to distribute. Because I think if we get back to that shakiness that you're saying that we're seeing with Hollywood would be fixed. I think that if the Black filmmakers, like you said, the independent filmmakers would take the mindset and take the knowledge that they have, don't gatekeep some, but use it and disperse it out like we're doing, like we have the Nakia Dillards that have these classes that put individuals that wouldn't normally have this access in connection. And when we get this, we build on it. We start making more films. We start casting in the independent sector, not just short films. Revision how we're looking at. I guess that's what I'm attempting to do with my degree, attempted to do with my vision, is to give a platform for those individuals. Because I hear Ty say, I've done all of this and I haven't gotten seen. My job, I have a degree in marketing as well, is to
Hmm.
recognize the gap. And that's why I ask these questions, because I'm seeing these gaps, I'm hearing these conversations, I'm hearing these interviews, but I don't see a solution. I don't see a fix. And I see a few people fixing it, but they're keeping the solution to themselves and leaving everybody else out here to figure it out. But we're supposed to be a community, and we're supposed to be work.
Unfortunately, it's not like that, man. I
Right.
can tell you right now.
I
I know a
got you.
lot of people in the industry, and they're in bigger situations. Do they try to? I've probably reached out to a couple of them. Do they help reach out to me? No. I worked with some actors. I can tell you right now. I've worked with a lot of actors that have done. They're on TV shows right now. Do they give me any type of recognition or try to help me if I reach out to them? Absolutely not. This is unfortunate. It's a very be blunt, it can be a very fake industry. And when people get them opportunities, they forget about people who put them on or help them out. And don't get me wrong, like I said, you have some good, genuine people that are really genuine, good people, and I can say Nakia, definitely is one of them. But it's very slim. A lot of people don't like to bring people up and help them, give them opportunities, and that's just unfortunately this industry because people fear that you're going to be better than them and you're going to take their jobs. And I think people see my stuff and I think they fear that too. They see this guy's doing sci-fi, fantasy stuff, trailers, action. They feel me as a threat. And that's just what it is. I don't really care because you can't stop what guys already got in store and he's got embedded since birth. So you just gonna enjoy the process or just watch or help me. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you can't stop what's gonna come. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, man, this industry, man, it can be very fake. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm keep 100 with you. Like it's a very fake industry. People can support you online and like all your posts, but they see you in public, they don't act like they don't even know you. That's how fake this industry is. I mean, if we want to be honest with you. But the thing is, man, what's in your heart, man, make it happen, man. Don't let nobody, whatever obstacles and all that stuff in this industry, stay true to your passion and what's in your heart and what you love to do. And it's gonna pay off, and I promise you that. So if I could tell you anything, that it's gonna pay off. It ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah.
You're gonna be broke. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna go through some blood, sweat, and tears. Like I actually say, I went through blood, sweat, and tears. Like I said, I got the scars and all that stuff. And this is on film life. You know what I'm saying? So I can truly say I've been through the blood, sweat, and tears in this industry. And I'm at the point right now in my life, I'm just grateful for where I came from and I know where I'm going. And just it's all a process. And just enjoy the process. Like don't stress yourself out about this industry, man, because this industry, especially Hollywood, ain't looking too good as it is. They losing billions of dollars a day. You got most of the productions moving to UK now. Marvel, like Georgia was like a big film hub for Marvel projects. Like over the last 10 years maybe? They going to UK now because it's cheaper on labor and crew. And again, it's like now it's like you got a lot of crew people now that have been on big budgets. They now want to do indie stuff, but at the same time, they can't get comfortable with that indie budget pay. Even like my projects, like because I shoot a lot of people's projects or whatever. Um, and I tell them like, hey, this ain't union. So the pay is gonna be a little different, and I think a lot of union people are not comfortable with that. And I get it, they got bills, they got mortgage to pay, but it's just like, hey, you gotta adapt because it's not always gonna be nice and fancy in the union industry, working on projects and stuff like that. So, but I mean, again, just stay true to what you want to do, man. So that's the honest truth I can tell you, man. Because you're gonna do a lot of fake people in this industry, bro. Trust me. The more successful you get, the more you're gonna see all the BS, and you gotta just again stay in your lane and don't stay off that. Just keep a straight road of where you want to be. You put the work in, you pray, everything's gonna pan out how you want it. It ain't gonna pan out when you want it.
Right. Good
It's
stuff.
gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You answered my question, and just because when I don't talk to a lot of filmmakers that much right now, and so when I get a chance to voice it, I want to put those sentiments out because I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, or if I'm not seeing, if I'm misrecognizing what I'm seeing or what I think I'm seeing in the industry, because I don't want to approach a set or my next project with the wrong mentality and hinder myself from doing more than what I could to help the talent that I come in contact with. And I think that's where it starts, of understanding what your purpose is with your craft. I really don't want to act. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I feel better supporting. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of, well, you got to go act, but that's not where I want to be. But I feel it might be necessary because I'm hearing it too much. And so it's like, okay, maybe this is me getting out of my comfort zone to go and get that experience, because I don't know. I don't, and maybe somebody, you can help me, or somebody can help me see a perspective. I don't see why me acting on this side of the camera, if I already understand what an actor needs from me on the backside of the camera. If I understand it, do I still go and do it, or should I still go and do this? That's
Well,
a question.
well, you need to be versatile in this business, man.
Okay.
That's the number one thing, man. This industry, man, you got to know how to do everything. Like I said, I am an actor too, so I have done acting. I've been in the movies. A lot of my early movies, I wasn't one of the actors. I wasn't the main actor, maybe for one movie, but yeah, I've acted. I went to acting class, especially if if you're being a director, you definitely want to go to acting classes because you need to understand actors. You need to understand everything on that aspect. Um, but no, I mean, don't put yourself in a box. You wear multiple hats. If you want to be an actor, director, producer, do it. Child Perry does it. So 50 does it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, don't put yourself in a box because I think you'll shortchange yourself a little bit down the road. And you never know what that acting position may get you. It might put you on a TV show, and you might end up being the director and say, "Hey, I got an idea." And you might, okay, I like it. Let's put you on there. So you never know how life works itself out. So just
Right.
always be open minded.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
have a
too.
question, Barrington, about I apologize, about AI. So how do you feel as a filmmaker? What are your thoughts on AI?
Mm.
That's a long
um,
conversation.
it could be I think it could be very useful depending on how you use it. I think again. It's a tool. I think it could be very beneficial for independent filmmakers and how you want to use it. So I don't know. That could be a long conversation how I ultimately feel about AI and all that stuff. But it's a tool I think for independent filmmakers. I think we could take a lot of usage of and compare it to, like, let's say, like, you have a script. You want to do a storyboard. You go hire an average storyboard. He's going to cost you like these $3,000 to $5,000, right? You can go to one of these AI apps. Let's just say for a whole feature film or a short film, they might tell you, hey, well, you pay like $200 for the month, and you do your whole movie. Which one are you gonna do?
Wow. Now that's
You're gonna
true.
do the $200 for the month.
Right, exactly.
So it's a good and bad thing. I think if you look at it long term outside of just movie making, AI is not the best. And I think if you watch the last Mission Impossible movie, I think can sum things up.
Mm.
But
It was very interesting.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I can go into that, but I ain't gonna go into those. But I'll just say if you know the woman who
Let's
did
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
If you know the woman who wrote The Matrix and she wrote the Alien
Mhm.
movies and Terminators, then you kind of can see where I'm going with that.
Right. Well,
But you know, it just use to your advantage at this point, you know. I mean, because again, you're saving money, you know. Is it the best thing? No, it's not.
mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
it's going to make things worse down the road,
Mm-hmm.
and who knows, Skynet might pop off. But hey, we're talk about that. But no, I mean it's a good tool. I think for particularly for independent filmmakers and
Right.
you know storytellers and all that stuff. I think it is a good tool to use to get you where you want to be.
Okay.
You know, it's a good and bad thing. I say.
I wondered how filmmakers, what the take was on AI. Just having discussions with, some of my friends and peers. Well, Barrington, we thank you so much for joining us this evening. Before we part, are there any words? Well, not are there. I'm going to say, can you please leave us with some gems of knowledge for us to grasp and hold on to?
Mm. Well, okay. Let me think about that.
Mhm.
Just always be humble. Always be a hero to people.
Mm,
And I post something on my Instagram about that. And it may seem superheroish, but you know, it's a little more deeper if you really just listen to it. Because I think sometimes, you know, we are all heroes in some degree to people. You know,
mm,
what we do in because we are inspiration. Like I'm honestly I've had so many people inbox me personally, just say, man, you're an inspiration. You inspire me, you're a motivation. So it's like I feel like I'm doing a calling. So I feel like just be inspiration to people, you know,
mm.
inspire people, motivate people, because I think everybody's going through something personally in their life. Um, and just keep the most high first, you know. And I always kind of go back to that, you know, because I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for him. And I'm always gonna get the praise. I don't care. I get the Oscar. I'm
Right.
gonna hold my well, it's an Emmy right now, but I'm gonna hold my Oscar, and I'm a.
Go ahead with the Emmy. Yes, with the
Oh
Emmy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it right.
Yes, you don't know.
But no, I'm always gonna get praise,
Oh,
you know. Because I know the struggles and I know, you know, all that stuff. Like me and the kid talk about it. So, you know, just always stay humble, stay
mhm,
motivated, stay prayed up. You know, when you go through them bad days, I always tell people, man, what you speak is going to happen in real life. So
Amen.
your
you
tongue
better
is a
not.
very powerful thing. So what you say is going to happen. So I always have
Mhm.
a habit of saying every day, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
I say this 3 to 6 times a day. And people always ask me, like, man, why, man, you got this going on, this on? Because I said, you know, I'm speaking to existence, what I want. I'm going to speak
Mhm.
positivity. And, you know, some people get so caught up in society, bills, and jobs, and life, and whatever. And, man, I want to make a movie. I ain't got the budget. But man, as long as you stay prayed up, speak positivity in your life, it's gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen when you want it, but it's gonna happen. So that I mean, that's the biggest thing I can probably say.
Amen. Well, I thank you. Before we part, I'm going to take a picture. If everyone could smile, or I smile.
Never mind. Hold on.
So let's see. Nakia can
Something.
turn your
I
light
don't
on.
know if
Okay,
you can see me. I
find
tried
your
to
Nikki,
light.
turn
where
Stay
you
it
right
I'm
been,
there.
in
Stay
Nikki?
right
dark
there.
too. I'm
Nikki, where
driving.
you been?
Did you
on.
turn your camera on, April?
I'm driving back in town, so I'm kind of in the dark too.
Did you turn? Okay.
Yeah, she driving.
All right. Well, I don't want you to smile while you're driving and look. All right. On the count of three. Did you want to hold? You wanted to hold your Emmy up? Is that what?
Oh, I mean, I can, man.
Yeah. All right,
Y'all took it?
everyone. So,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
I was fast. I was real fast with it.
I wanted
So
I wanted to say something real quick before we hung up. I wasn't able to talk while I was driving, but now that I'm getting a little bit closer to home and kind of know my route, I wanted to say, Barrington, nice to meet you in person.
It's it.
I've been following you for years. I actually you casted me for Mr. Watson, so I bother Nakia about that all the time. Like, how's he doing? Is he gonna ever do Mr. Watson? So, yeah. So, are
Yeah,
you
Mr. Watson. So I'm that movie is still in play. I've been talking to people and stuff like that.
okay?
It's still in development. I made some little changes earlier this year. It's just one of those, it comes down to just a financial thing, whatever. When the certain investors we have, so stuff like that. But it's definitely gonna happen. I said I have a lot of big well, I'll just say I have one of the main actors on Tyler Perry shows, and I've actually worked with him, and he wants to play the lead. I think the kid knows who it is, but so he's interested and stuff like that. So it's just more just getting a lot of the logistics stuff done. But I'm ultimately probably gonna rebrand it just because it's been a while with casting and stuff like that. So but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be that's still in motion because I said I have other movies that's gonna connect to that character,
Okay.
which is the werewolf vampire I kind of mentioned to you guys earlier. All these characters have to meet some again, I'm creating my own cinematic black universe and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, which ultimately I always kind of envision I'm gonna invite James Gunn to come to the premiere, and I know he lives in Georgia, so that's my ultimate goal with that. But yeah, it's still gonna be in works though. I mean, it's a beautiful script, and I think it's very different from most superhero movies. I think it's so grounded and personal, and I think everybody can relate to this movie on a personal level, just dealing with trauma and relationships and stuff like that. So, it's very different and unique compared to like most Marvel and DC stuff because their stories are just so focused on the action and lack of the characters. So, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be in works though. So.
So will you be recasting, even though you have picked the cast prior? So will we have to audition again? Will you be using the people that you casted prior, and we were just like waiting?
Yeah, we're gonna start from scratch. I talked to my producer and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be from scratch. But this time, we're gonna just make sure certain things are in play. But yeah, ultimately, we're gonna recast it, and when we do announce it, probably like a 2-day casting audition thing we'll do, and I'll promote it, on social media and all that stuff.
Okay, thank
But
you.
we look forward to that, and we're going to continue to lift you up in prayer.
Yep.
I'm going to ask if you had one more word because Nakia knows I love when our guest has the last word. So now you have to dig out another word.
Sorry.
I know you have great
Um,
words in you because you speak life every day.
yeah, no, most definitely. Just continue um being great in the world. Just continue believing in yourself because sometimes we always doubt each other, or each other or whatever. So just always continue believing in yourself, and what you're doing has meaning and has a purpose and stuff like that. So don't listen to what society tells you and what your finance looks like, and you know, jobs, whatever struggles you may be going through. Don't let that pigeon you to where you can be, you know, because we're all put on this plan to be great, and we're gonna do great, you know. So it all takes time and just putting the work, you know. So and just enjoy the process. That's the biggest thing. Just enjoy the journey, because you look back at 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're like, damn, I was stressing about this is that. And it's like, man, I'm standing here tall. I'm living out my dream. You know, it's all about when you get to that point, what do you do next?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
What do you do next? All right, everyone. So I wish you all peace. If everyone can just throw up your peace sign.
Hey,
Woo. Love. Everyone
Peace.
give us some love
yes.
Love
and power.
Power. Yes.
and power.
Yes. Have a wonderful evening, and we thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. You have a good night.
Thank you so much, B. Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Cole.
All right.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. This was great. Have a
All
good
right.
night, y'all.
Good
All right,
night.
All right,
Peace.
take care. See you soon.